Hello and welcome to Cooking with Kieran. Today I'm making teriyaki chicken noodles. The ingredients are on the screen and I'll put them in the comments below. I'm really just using up ingredients that I had in the fridge and in the cupboard because I've nothing organised for dinner, but this is something that if you have ingredients sitting you can just throw together quite quickly. So first I'm going to make my noodles using dried medium noodles. Pot of boiling water, and then add a nest of noodles per person, and then cook them for the length of time that the brand of noodles you're using suggests. These will take around about 5 minutes in boiling water. You want your noodles to be boiling, so just keep an eye on the pot and adjust the heat up or down to keep it boiling, but stop it from boiling over. Then I'm going to marinate my chicken. So I'll marinate the chicken using teriyaki sauce, some red chilli, and 2 cloves of garlic. I have to crush the garlic, so to do that I'm going to just use a knife, chop the 2 ends off each clove and take the skin off. Now I'm going to crush it with a knife by pushing down with the back of the knife on the clove of garlic to crush it, and then use the blade to cut it up finely and mash it. You can just use a garlic crusher instead. So doing this, you're just eating into the garlic as you go. Push it back together in a pile and then do the same thing a few times, and it just crushes it down. So I'm going to cut my chili. You can use an entire red chili. I'm feeding this to a child, so I'm having it less hot. I'm using about a quarter of a red chili. Just before that I'm giving my noodles a stir to make sure that they break up and that they're all in the water and that they don't stick together when I'm cooking them. So chop your chili into little circles. You can peel the seeds out if you want and make it slightly less hot. So now you've been touching your chili, just be careful. Really, just don't touch your eyes. If you touch your eyes, you will cry. It can be really sore. The chili on your hands is dangerous. So just make sure you wash your hands well when you're finished and avoid touching your eyes when you've been handling chili. Again, I'm just stirring the noodles and making sure that they don't stick together too much. Giving them a stir. And now I'm going to cut my chicken. I'm using chicken breast because it's what I had in the freezer and it'll work fine. I'm going to cut it up into small bite-sized pieces that can be picked up with chopsticks and eaten. This is better if you make it using chicken thighs or chicken legs. The meat's better for this sort of thing. It's moister. chicken breast will do fine if it's what you have. You can see the size that I'm cutting them, so I'm slicing them into about 1 centimeter wide slices and then cutting them down again in the middle so that they're a nice size for eating. So now I just wash my hands after touching the chili and the raw chicken. Rinse the chicken juice off my hands, taking out a colander, and I'm going to strain my noodles, which are now cooked. You can see they've been on for about 5 minutes, and we're going to rinse them under cold water now that they're cooked in the colander. That will stop them cooking anymore and going dry, or not dry, rubbery, mushy. So good rinse under cold water. That cools them down, stops them cooking anymore, and then set them aside for later. Just going to clear my chopping board, and then I'm going to give the chopping board a wash as well, because I'm going to use it for some vegetables as well now that I've prepared the chicken to leave it to sit for a while. So I'm going to need to wash the chopping board and get all that raw chicken off it, get it nice and clean. So the chicken also gets 2 tablespoons of teriyaki sauce. This is stuff I have in the fridge to make myself. You can use shop bought teriyaki sauce. It'll just be a slightly different taste, but you know, it's still going to cook nicely and give you something tasty. At some point I'll record myself making the teriyaki sauce that I use and make a video. So now you've got all your marinated ingredients in the bowl, you just need to mix them up and keep them to the side to marinate for a little bit. So you can use a fork or spoon or whatever to stir it. I find it easier just to use my hand and can really mix it up quite well and massage the sauce in. Of course, it means I'm like covered in teriyaki sauce. So, gonna cook everything in a wok. So put the wok on the hob, turn the hob up high to warm your wok. When the wok is warming and heating, I'm just gonna prepare some of my vegetables. So I'm using spinach and a yellow pepper. So cut your pepper in half, take out the tops, and then I'm just peeling out the inside parts, the little white bits, give them a quick rinse under the water to get out any seeds. You can see I'm just trimming out the white bits in the middle. And now I'm going to slice it across the ways, relatively thin strips, and then I'm going to turn around sideways and chop it again, and I'll just put it into cubes. So my pan's hot now. You'll see him adding oil to the pan, to the wok. Don't. I don't use oil when I'm cooking teriyaki sauce, which you'll see I'll just realise in the video. And now I'm emptying the oil out into the sink and washing the wok off. And I'll then put it back in the hob. So because I'm using the teriyaki sauce that the chicken's marinated in and cooked in, I'm just going to put it straight into the wok. The hot wok against the sauce will form a nice seal. Ideally you want your sauce to start to sizzle when you put it into the wok. If I hadn't have rinsed out the oil, the wok would have been slightly warmer and there would have been more of a sizzle. You can see the steam coming off the wok, though it is still quite hot. So when the chicken's sealing in the pan, I just washed quickly the bowl I was using, and give your chicken a stir, turn it over so it seals. After the chicken's been in for a little bit, you want to turn the wok down slightly to sort of a medium-high heat. You don't want it too high, but you need it up high when you're first putting your food in, because your food will cool the wok. So if you have it higher, it helps to stop the wok from getting too cool. So when the chicken's cooking, I'm just going to get my dishes ready. So some plates to use. Again, stir the chicken just so that it seals on all sides, and turn over bits which haven't been touched in the pan yet. I'm just going to use the chopsticks to turn them over. Then I'm also going to use some spring onions, so I'm going to use 2 spring onions. Give them a quick rinse. I'm trimming them in the sink as well, peeling the outer leaves off and ripping off the edges. I'm going to chop the bottoms off. Just remember to stir your chicken every now and again, make sure it doesn't stick to the pan and that it cooks evenly on both sides. Just peeling off the outside layer of skin from the spring onion, and then I'm cutting them into small strips, maybe about 1 centimetre. Okay, so at this stage I want to add my vegetables, add my peppers. And then I'm going to add the spinach. Just adding a couple of handfuls. You can add as much or so as you want. And then stir everything up until it starts to wilt. You don't want to cook it too long, but just long enough that the spinach starts to wilt a little bit and soften. Then I'm going to just tidy up my bench when I'm waiting. So now I'm just breaking up some chicken to check and make sure it's definitely cooked, and it is. I've done some tidying when I was waiting, and now I'm adding my noodles to the pan. Gonna give them a good stir. You've cooled them previously using the cold water, so they will need to be heated through. They're cooked, they just need to be reheated and mixed with the other ingredients. Lifting them up just to break them up a little bit so they don't get into a big clump in the middle. It makes them easier to serve and easier to eat. Again, good stir. Make sure you turn them over every now and again so that the bottom of the pan is getting all the noodles. So now that it's mostly done, I'm going to use another little bit of teriyaki sauce to drizzle over them when they're finished. So everything's cooked at this stage. I checked the chicken, it was cooked, and the noodles just need heated. So now I'm just going to check and see if they're warm enough. Obviously don't be eating out of the pan if you're serving other people, but so I drizzle in just an extra bit of teriyaki sauce on top. It adds just another little bit of flavour and makes it slightly less dry, I suppose. And then I'm checking the taste again. And now I have 18 minutes in, dinner's ready, just need to put it on plates. It's a really quick meal to make just from ingredients you have sitting in the fridge. I sort of made this up as I went along. I wasn't really following any particular recipe, but noodles with teriyaki sauce and some vegetables can be quite nice. Teriyaki works well if you use red onion too. And now finally just some more teriyaki sauce, a little tiny dribble over the top. And there you go. Teriyaki chicken noodles in about 20 minutes.